I just want to take a minute to share a thought that I have. I keep hearing Christians talk about a great revival all the time. They're looking for a great revival or some kind of spiritual utopia. And when I hear that, I always go away from that scratching my head, because when I read my Bible and I see Jesus talking about the last days in the gospel, Jesus had absolutely nothing to say about a revival in the last days. Now, here's what Jesus did talk about when he talked about the last days in the gospel. He did talk about a great falling away, a great evil, and a great progression toward uh, homosexuality. You can read in the Gospels and you'll find uh, where he talked about it being like the days of Lot and the days of Noah. Now, when I go back and read the story of Noah, how it was in his day, here's what I find. I believe it's in Genesis chapter 6, right there at the first of the chapter. It says that God looked down from heaven, and here is what God saw, and it's described in this way. Man's heart was only evil continually. Now, if we are in the last days, and I don't know of anybody that doesn't agree that we are in the last days. Matter of fact, I believe we're at 11:59 right now. Now, if we're in the last days, and Jesus said it would be like it was in the days of Noah in the last days, and I believe it is, then here are some things that was prevalent during that time. Number one, we know that Noah preached 120 years. We know that in that 120 years of preaching, 8 people were saved. That's in 1 Peter 3. Now that averages out to 1 convert every 15 years. So what does that tell us? That tells us that there is not going to be these massive amounts of people coming to the Lord as we have been led to believe by some in Christianity. Number 2, during Noah's day, when God looked at the conditions on the face of the earth, God saw evil everywhere. Now, pardon me, but I live in Realville. I'm not an optimist and I'm not a pessimist, but I am a realist. And when I look around at the reality of the world that I live in, I see a progression that is progressively going toward evil. Matter of fact, Jesus himself said, evil men will wax or become worse and worse. Now, Jesus also said in the last days, right before he returned, it would be like it was in the days of Lot. Now, when we read the story of Lot, especially in Genesis 19, what we find there is militant homosexuality. In other words, homosexuality that has become more and more in your face, threatening. And just today, as I'm filming this, a threshold was crossed in the United States of America that I live in. A Christian was thrown in jail for standing up for the Bible, which is supposed to be constitutionally protected right of religion. But the gay agenda, although they did not succeed in coercing her into signing a document that she believes is unbiblical, that document being a marriage certificate that married 2 gay people with her endorsement on it. So, folks, let's get real, okay? We are not headed for a great revival. I hate to tell you that, but we're not. I read in my Bible and where it says the spirit of Antichrist would become more prevalent. I believe that's found in maybe 1st or 2nd Thessalonians. I find that these words in the Bible that says only he that now leadeth will lead until it be taken out of the way. I anticipate the spirit of Antichrist to become more prevalent. I anticipate evil men to become worse and worse, just like Jesus said. I expect homosexuality to become more prevalent, and I expect, in fact, absolutely the opposite of what many Christians are expecting today, which is a great revival. I am actually expecting a great persecution and an attempt to silence Christians and cause Christianity to literally or metaphorically go underground. There's already the attempt to silence Christians. It's only a matter of time that verbal persecution will turn physical. We've seen that today. We've seen physical persecution of Christians begin literally before our very eyes today, when the Christian clerk Kim Davis was thrown in jail simply because she has a belief based on the Bible. So get real, live in reality. We are not going to see a great revival, as some say. We will live on a new earth in heaven one day, just as the Bible predicts. But right now, we are not in a great revival. We are not headed for a great revival, if we are in the last days, and I believe we are. Thank you.